Within the horror films, there is the slasher film genre. And within that genre, I'd say we have our big three. Our big three being Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger. Out of that big three of Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger, I have always been more partial towards Freddy Krueger and the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I've always found them more enjoyable. Part of the reason for that is you can actually see his personality. Freddy Krueger actually talks, and he will kill you with his claws and with a joke at the same time. So there's a characteristic there, there's a personality there, be it a psychopath. So even though Halloween is over, I wanted to have this video done before Halloween. Didn't work out that way, but here's the thing. You can watch horror films, scary films anytime during the year. It doesn't just have to be for Halloween. So I'm going to talk about my favorite horror slasher character, which is Freddy Krueger. So let's start this. Let's get going. Let's get it. Hi, I'm Lenny, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. This came out in 1987, and it's rated R. This film was, I believe, the theatrical debut of Patricia Arquette. Patricia Arquette is in this movie. She plays Kristen Parker. She is one of the major characters, or is the major character within the film, and I believe that this film was her big theatrical debut. Another thing that's very interesting is Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie. Lawrence Fishburne plays the orderly Max within the mental hospital, which is the main setting for this film. It's a mental hospital for kids that have sleeping disorders. And Lawrence Fishburne is hanging out here, looking after the kids. In Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, we get the return of Nancy Thompson, who's played by Heather Langenkamp, who was the survivor of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. It was within her house on Elm Street that all the kind of major events take place in. It's great to see the surviving hero of the first film coming back and being a part of this third film and kind of kicking the series off and passing the torch, so to speak, to the next generation of Elm Street kids. What we find out that's taking place here is all of these kids are being haunted by a similar figure. They're being haunted by Freddy Krueger in their dreams, but no one believes these kids. No one believes them whatsoever. What's the reason why Freddy Krueger is after these kids? The reason is because these are the last surviving kids of Elm Street. These are the last original Elm Street kids. These are the children of the parents that tracked down child murderer Freddy Krueger, or Fred Krueger as he's called in the first film, and I believe in the second film. These are the children of the parents that tracked down Freddy Krueger, the child murderer, and burned him alive, vigilante style, for the crimes that he committed. So now Freddy is going after the children. So it's the sins of the parents being passed down upon the children. He wants to get rid of all the Elm Street children to make them suffer. They are the last surviving bunch of kids from those parents. Cool thing about The Dream Warriors is there's a lot of amazing practical effects that take place in this film. I wish that we still use practicals as much as possible instead of just relying on CGI. But the practicals in here are awesome. There's one practical that takes place where Freddy Krueger becomes this massive worm snake-like creature, and he is trying to swallow Kristen up whole and eat her up. This practical shot looks amazing. The Freddy Krueger giant ass snake worm, beautiful shot. A lot of beautiful practical effects done in this movie. So since it's a Nightmare on Elm Street film, there's going to be a lot of expendable characters. People are going to be getting killed. That's the gist of these movies. These kids are going to be served up on a platter. The thing about the third film, The Dream Warriors, and why it's called The Dream Warriors, is this is the first film where the kids are given a little bit more of a chance to fight back against Freddy and kind of control their own dreams. It would have been very cool to see what Philip's Dream Warrior power would have been. He makes these marionettes, these very cool puppets. And unfortunately, he doesn't live that long. His kill is one of the very most impressive Freddy Krueger kills within the movie. It's crazy sick. But before I get to his kill, I gotta mention this character named Kincaid. I love Kincaid. He's this big black guy with this very high pitch Michael Jackson meets Mike Tyson voice. You don't expect this voice to come out of the body. And it cracks me up anytime he talks, and it cracks me up even more anytime where he's pissed off and he's talking. Philip and Kincaid share a room within the hospital ward. Philip is known as a sleepwalker. He's known to completely walk in his sleep, but this time he's not actually doing so. Freddy has basically cut up Philip to take out all the major veins, or the major vein in his arms and his legs and his feet, and Freddy is controlling Philip like a marionette, like a puppet that Philip would make himself. And these practicals are straight up sick, crazy good. They got the large veins coming out. Philip is walking like this and being controlled. Like, Philip, wake up, you sleepwalking. Philip doesn't wake up. Have a nice stroll, asshole. Cracks me up. So Jennifer Caulfield wants to be an actress. She wants to go to LA and be this big time actress. She's always watching the television or studying films. Jennifer is alone in the lounge. I guess we'll call it the lounge. It's where the TV is. And she's flipping through and she comes to the Dick Cavett show. And this was a real talk show. So Jennifer, she's like, oh crap, what's going on here? Let me go investigate and get even closer to the TV, even though I know there's a guy killing us kids off and I just saw him pop up on the TV. What would be the best thing for me to do is go closer to the TV, right? And investigate what's going on, because now the channel's all scrambled. So she goes up to the TV, she starts smacking it on the side. Next thing you know, Freddy Krueger's head pops out of the top of the TV where there's these old school rabbit ear antennas. Freddy Krueger's head pops out at the television. He's got the rabbit ear antennas. His arms also pop out of the side. He picks Jennifer up and he's got her in front of the TV with his arms. And he's like, you ready for your big break in television? Another classic line that cracks me up is he's like, fuck the prime time, bitch. Slams her head into the TV, kills Jennifer. We have Joey. Joey doesn't necessarily reveal what his Dream Warrior power is, and he kind of gets gypped. His kind of suck, because basically what happens is he gets Bugs Bunnied by Freddy Krueger. And what I mean by that is Freddy disguises himself as this beautiful nurse that works at the hospital that Joey has the hots for. Joey can't talk. He's made by Freddy Krueger, impersonates this nurse, drives him away from the rest of the group. Joey thinks he's gonna get some, and he gets a little bit more tongue action than what he was hoping for. You know, the nurse undresses. Joey's like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life, y'all. It's happening. He doesn't say that, but you know that's what's going through his mind. Boom, Joey gets tripped up. It's Freddy Krueger, and Freddy basically keeps him hostage, tongue-tied to this bed that's hanging over a fiery pit of hell. We got Kincaid with the funny voice. Since he's a tough guy, his Dream Warrior power is he's super strong. He can physically punch through walls, bend metal chairs and metal bars, and sing like Freddie Mercury with that beautiful voice. Actually, I don't know if the Freddie Mercury part is true, but you could probably sing because that voice be hitting some falsetto. One quick other mention before they go and the surviving warriors are gonna go find and rescue Joey. Kincaid says, as earnestly and sincere as possible, let's go kick this motherfucker's ass all over Dreamland. I haven't mentioned Kristen, our main character's Dream Warrior power. She has two, so she gets double dips. She gets two scoops. She is able to bring other people into her dreams. Kristen is also able to win the parkour championship. She does these gymnast karate moves. She's running up walls, flipping off walls. So she's got two powers, can bring other people into her dreams, and she is basically American Ninja Warrior. We also get a little more of Freddy Krueger's back history. Throughout this film, there's been a mysterious nun who is able to pop up, drop little clues and riddles of mystery, and then disappears into the wind. No one knows where she goes. It turns out that this lady in white, this nun in white, is Amanda Krueger. She is a nun, and Amanda Krueger would therefore be Freddy Krueger's mother. Now, she inadvertently gave birth to Freddy Krueger, It wasn't planned with her being a nun. She worked at a wing of the mental hospital where the kids are, that's now closed off. Amanda Krueger is locked in during the holiday, during the weekend, with 100+ mentally ill male patients who each take turn raping this poor lady, and thus she gets pregnant and gives birth to Freddy Krueger. And that is where the term the bastard son of 100 maniacs comes from. It comes from Amanda Krueger describing the birth of Freddy Krueger. Something that does suck within this movie though is the death of Nancy Thompson, our original hero. Freddy does get the best of her in this one, disguising himself as her father, who just magically comes floating down from the heavens, says that he has crossed over and he wants to say goodbye to his beautiful daughter before he goes. I never really liked this part because Nancy's smarter than this. She just sees her dad magically appear. She knows she's in a dream and she just goes running to him, and unfortunately it's Freddy disguised as her dad. But Nancy, being the badass that she is, she actually kills Freddy also by taking his glove and stabbing himself with his glove. So she goes out like a champ. If you get a chance, I highly recommend Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. It's one of my favorite within the Elm Street series and definitely worth checking out. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see other videos like this, all you have to do is hit the YouTube logo down in the bottom corner and you will subscribe to my channel and you'll get a notification anytime I upload a new video. As always, I want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you for letting me talk about these things that I'm passionate about. Thank you so much for lending me your ears and your time. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. As always, be safe, be careful, and I'll talk to you soon.